The massive Boeing 737 sat on the tarmac at Chicago O'Hare Airport, its engines humming with anticipation. Flight 447 to Atlanta was nearly ready for departure. The morning sun cast long shadows across the runway as passengers finished boarding. Marcus Thompson stepped into the first-class cabin, his wife Lisa close behind. Their twin sons, Jake and Sam, both 8 years old, clutched their backpacks tightly. The family moved down the narrow aisle toward seats R through RD. "Dad, these seats are huge," Jake whispered, his eyes wide with excitement. Marcus smiled and helped his boys settle in. Lisa placed their carry-on bags in the overhead compartment. Other passengers glanced their way, some with curious stares, others with barely concealed frowns. The cabin felt heavy with an uncomfortable silence. Something was wrong. Marcus could sense it immediately. A tall, blonde flight attendant approached their row. Her name tag read Carol Williams. Her smile looked forced, her eyes cold as ice. "Excuse me," Carol said, her voice sharp and unwelcoming. "I need to see your boarding passes again." Marcus frowned but handed over their tickets. Carol examined them like a detective studying evidence. "These seats are for first-class passengers only," she announced loudly. "Are you sure you're in the right section?" "We paid for these seats," Lisa replied calmly. "Our tickets clearly show RA through RD." Carol's face twisted with suspicion. "I'll need to verify this with my supervisor. There must be some mistake." Passengers began turning in their seats, whispers spreading like wildfire through the cabin. The twins moved closer to their parents, sensing trouble brewing. Carol grabbed her radio with dramatic flair. "Security to gate 15A immediately. We had passengers causing disturbances in first class." "We're not causing any disturbance," Marcus said firmly, his voice steady despite the growing tension. 2 security guards appeared within minutes, their uniforms commanding attention from every passenger. The entire cabin fell silent, all eyes focused on the Thompson family. "These people claim they belong in first class," Carol announced loudly. "But something doesn't seem right about their story." Jake grabbed his father's arm, fear creeping into his young voice. "Dad, what's happening?" Lisa quickly pulled out her phone, starting to record. "This is completely unacceptable behavior," she said, shielding her sons with her body. Marcus placed protective hands on his boys' shoulders. "Stay calm, everyone. We'll handle this properly." Carol crossed her arms triumphantly. "Sir, I'm giving you one final warning. Either you move to economy class, or you'll be removed from this aircraft entirely." Marcus calmly reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out his phone. He stepped slightly away from his family and dialed a number. His voice was quiet but firm as he spoke. "This is Marcus. We have a situation on Flight 447. Handle it immediately." Inside the cockpit, Captain Rodriguez's radio crackled to life. An urgent message came through from Airline headquarters. His face went pale as he read the transmission. The crew suddenly began whispering among themselves, confusion spreading through their ranks like wildfire. Captain Rodriguez burst through the cockpit door, his face flushed with panic and embarrassment. He rushed down the aisle, his captain's head slightly askew. "Mr. Thompson," he called out breathlessly. "Sir, I am so terribly sorry for this misunderstanding." The entire cabin fell into stunned silence. Carol's confident smirk began to fade as she watched the captain approach Marcus with obvious respect and fear. "Ladies and gentlemen," Captain Rodriguez announced to the cabin, his voice shaking slightly. "I need to inform everyone that Mr. Marcus Thompson is the owner and CEO of Skyline Airlines." Carol's face drained of all color. Her hands began to tremble as the full weight of her actions hit her like a freight train. Passengers throughout the cabin gasped audibly. Whispers of shock and disbelief rippled through the aircraft. Marcus stood slowly, his dignity intact despite everything he had endured. He looked directly at Carol, then addressed the entire cabin. This situation shows us something important, he said calmly. We should never judge people by their appearance or make assumptions about who belongs where. Carol's career crumbled before her eyes. Mr. Thompson, I didn't know. That's exactly the problem, Marcus replied firmly. You shouldn't need to know who someone is to treat them with basic respect. Captain Rodriguez immediately terminated Carol's employment. Crew members and passengers began approaching the Thompson family with sincere apologies. Jake looked up at his father with newfound pride. Dad, you really own this whole airplane. Marcus smiled and hugged his sons. Sometimes, son, strength comes from staying calm when others try to tear you down. The flight departed with a completely different atmosphere. Respect had replaced prejudice.